was the one who already less than a month into ownership was the one who made a defect. I can't live with myself after this. Boy, oh boy, have I had my hands full with the new F350. Now, it's not really that, it's still kind of new. I've only had it for, I think I'm going on about a month right now. And it probably doesn't look much different at first glance, except for it might be on this side. We'll see if you catch it. Actually, there's two little things that are different about it. Now, when I tell you guys what I've been doing with this thing, you're probably going to think that that's not that much. What do you mean you've had your hands full? Well, you got to remember, my brain has the computing power, the processing power of a Razr flip phone. Even that might be a little more powerful. But I've done quite a bit to the F350 since I bought it, and I've been very bad at filming it, but I have a good reason for that. So right now we're going to flash back to about 2 weeks ago to a younger and less facial haired Jake, and we'll kind of work our way back up to the present day. And then I'll fill you guys in with what we've been doing to this thing.
Flashback.
Man, oh man, do I love driving my new F350. This thing is awesome. It gives me such a false sense of strength. My feels even smaller than it did before. But no, really, I do love driving this thing. I've been driving it now for just a few days, but there's one thing about it that I just cannot stand. And I wasn't even going to make a video about doing this because it seemed small, but I'm sure there's going to be other things. This is going to be a multiple day. This is going to be a multiple day video, I'm sure. But the previous owner, again, no judgment, to each their own. People have different tastes. The previous owner installed this stick-on carbon fiber everywhere. It's on the door panels. It's on the rear door panels. It's on whatever that is. And it's all over here. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. And one of the things I said in my first video with this F350 was just how clean the interior was. And really, there's quite literally not a scratch on it. And every time I say that, I find myself looking for little imperfections. And I never find any. But this stick-on carbon fiber stuff is really cramping the style of this interior. I just can't do it anymore. I'm hoping that when I pull it off, there's not any residue left. That would suck so badly. But I'm breaking out the heat gun and I'm trying to get this stuff off. I can't do it any longer. This should do the trick. I sure hope. I really hope. I'm gonna start on this back door here, on this little thing, probably the most inconspicuous area. I'm just trying not to damage the rest of the interior. I'm trying to heat the adhesive up to loosen it up and see if I can peel this stuff back without too much of a mess. Oh boy, not great. The adhesive is sticking in some spots. Urgh. Shoot. Well, it definitely didn't come off anywhere near as neatly as I hoped, but actually, I might have spoken too soon. See if I can chip away at this adhesive before having to break out the Goo Gone. Goodbye. present day. It's 40 degrees outside right now, according to the Apple weather app anyways, and I think they're completely full of crap. The feel like temperature is 37. Still think they're full of crap. It's freezing outside, so it's the perfect opportunity for us to get a nice little cold start, semi-cold start. It's kind of cold out. We're waiting for that to warm up. Just gonna back the truck up a little bit. I don't like filming this close to the road, because everyone walks by and they look and they're like, hey, there's the kid who keeps talking to himself in his backyard. I have friends, you know. Glow plugs are off. All right, we're good. Nice. What a sound that is. It's like a fighter jet. Actually, can someone explain to me why it does that? My brother's 6.0 does the same thing. Why do diesels do that? Someone let me know. It's so loud. Just back it up a hair. That should be good. That'll be golden. Now we'll start with the changes that I did in the interior, because that's kind of where we left off. And unfortunately, that carbon fiber crap did not come off as easily as I had hoped. Now it was easy enough, one pass with the heat gun, a few passes actually, and you'd pull it up. The problem was that all the adhesive stayed. So then I heated that up. It wasn't that difficult to remove. A little bit of rubbing and you know, intricate fingernail work, and it came up. The problem is, in some spots, it still didn't come up. So I had to use Goo Gone. I didn't like using Goo Gone, you know, around the switches and stuff, getting into the intricate areas. But as you'll see up here, the carbon fiber is still there. And the reason for that is, actually, I'll climb out and show you guys the reason for that. Around this side. See, on this one, when I was removing it, because I had to use the heat gun, I damaged this piece. Look at my fat little thumb pushed in there, dented the plastic, or melted it, and then I dented it, and made that little wave right there. Now, I'm not OCD or anything, you know, normally this wouldn't bother me, but the interior is so beautiful. It's so clean, it's so nice on this truck, that I was the one who, already less than a month into ownership, was the one who made a defect. I can't live with myself after this. So I'm gonna find someone parting out an F350 or 250 of this generation, and I'll replace this piece. Hopefully it's not very expensive. But it just, it irked me so badly. Anyways, most of the residue did come off. I'll switch to this camera. It's a little bit more intricate with the detail. Most of the adhesive did come off. I cleaned it, but like, there are little remnants, little bits of history that show that this was once covered with carbon fiber. As far as the back, came off relatively clean. Again, there's little details that you really wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. This was a problem. This still, I couldn't get this entirely clean. But once it dried for a few days now, I'm able to scrape it off, but it's still not getting it all clean. So if anyone has any little tips or tricks on a better way to do this, let me know, because that's the reason why I haven't removed the pieces, especially all that. Gosh, it's right center in the middle, and if I mess something up there, I am going to be pissed. I've been too afraid to do this portion, even though I hate looking at it. I just don't want to hurt it. So really, if any of you guys have any little tips or tricks, I'm using the heat gun lightly. Again, there's the fine line of, heating it up to loosen the adhesive. It loosens the carbon off of the adhesive. You still have the adhesive. Then I have to use Goo Gone, and I don't really, I'm not having a good time. Not having a good time. It may be a viable option to just replace that entire, this entire piece all up there and stuff. That might be an option. But then again, I did want to put wood trim in some of those areas. My dad told me I shouldn't. I usually listen to him, but wood trim is wood trim. What do you guys think? It would cover if there are any defects. So enough about the carbon. You guys probably think I'm an idiot for caring that much about it. But we did do quite a few other things, little things that you wouldn't really notice. And we'll go over those now. So starting at the front, you guys notice anything different here? I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you guessed it right, good job. We removed the bug guard, the bug wind guard deflector off the front of the truck. And I gotta say, I love the way it looks now. Without it, I am gonna have to do a little bit of buffing, a little bit of polishing to remove the little spots where the pads were. And as you can see, there's quite a difference in the paint. Now, I did give this a quick little wash with some water and soap, but it didn't remove all that. So I think it's gonna take a little bit of buffing to clean that area up. Next little thing we did was, well, my father had to help me with this one, is the tonneau cover now sits flush. I don't have that little stupid lip spoiler as I did in the first video, but now you can open and close the tailgate with the tonneau cover down and secure as it should be. Now it turns out that this little frame piece in here, the frame for the tonneau cover, was not at the right height back here. It was level with the bed all the way up, but when it got back to here, it was too low and it was hitting this. So when I shut it, you couldn't shut it with this latch down. You had to leave this unlatched. Then you could shut the tailgate, and then you had this stupid little lip thing. And then when it rained or iced, it sunk down and it kind of ruined it. It was gonna break it. Thankfully, my father helped me out with that one because I didn't even notice. I was getting ready to cut and trim the tailgate, so I didn't have to buy a new tonneau cover because these things are not cheap. And this one's in such good shape, that would be a shame. That would be a shame to buy a new one. And I don't have the money to do that. And the next thing I did was quite a big one. Now you'll notice down here, that doesn't look quite right. So if you guys remember, in the first video I said that there were some rust spots in this area, all down here and all down there. There was mainly a big bubble there, and then down here it looked like it was like scraped or something, and there was a pretty bad spot right here. But the problem was it wasn't all the way through. It was a little bit worse than surface rust, but it wasn't, you couldn't push through. We have a visitor. Hi, Dozy. Hello, buddy. Hello. What you doing, buddy? Huh? Hello. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call ADHD. Where were we? Yes, rust repair. So, for the past few days, I have been working on this. Now, I sanded it all down. I sanded all the rust away, got it down to bare metal. I had to use a little bit of Bondo in the spots that the rust ate away at the metal. I know it's not the best way to do it, but it is almost December at this point. It's bound to snow. The snow is actually in the forecast. That's why I wasn't able to film a lot of this, because I needed to get that covered before any salt was on the road, because I didn't want any salt to get into what was already open on the truck and just make it 10 times worse. This was at what I believe a savable stage, savable for a little while anyways. So this is merely to get me through the winter and to make it look better than it did. So had to use a little bit of body filler, a little bit of Bondo on those spots. You can see I am not the best body man in the world. It was kind of a rush job, as I said, to get it finished before the snow came. And then the snow never came. So I buttoned this up last night, got it to this stage. I used some rust inhibitor that I got at Tractor Supply first, then I Bondoed it, then I primed it. That's why it has such a hard line to it right now on the areas that I had to tape off. but I'll be able to easily sand that down, get it all smooth, and then I'll probably what I'll do is I'll just paint. I might just paint below this, just redo that whole area. That seems like it would probably be the best way in terms of blending. But I'll get some spray bombs made at the O'Reilly's, actually local one. I didn't know mixed paint, so I'll get a few spray cans made of that. Oh, I actually did the inside of the door as well. These were kind of rough. It was just starting to bubble a little bit, so I was like, well, I'm down there, might as well take care of that. And I just basically sanded as much of the old rust away as I could. Put the rust inhibitor stuff on that, primed it, and that's the stage we're at now. So I'll get a can of blue for there and a can of silver for the outside. But now it's the old waiting game as I wait for the next day that's above 40 degrees, so I can actually paint my garage. Well, this is actually too big to fit in the garage in the first place. Kind of a con of having this thing, but it doesn't fit in the garage, and I can't really paint in my garage anyways, unless I take everything out of it, all the cars, and put up poly, and that'd just be a big pain in the ass. So we'll just wait for the next day that's above 50 degrees. I'll heat up the metal a little bit, and again, this is not perfect. This isn't a show truck. I'm just trying to protect it because it does only have now 95,000 miles. But for a 2001 7.3 Powerstroke, there's not a ton of them, to my knowledge, from what I've seen out there, with less than 100,000 still, that aren't rotted away. Let's just say it that way. So we are in New England, and rust is going to happen. So I'm just trying to protect this thing. How could I forget, though, the maintenance aspect of what I've had to do to this so far. I didn't think I'd have to do any maintenance yet. I'm going to change the oil within the next week because I don't know when the last time it was changed. But I had a little something unexpected come up when I went to drive this thing this past weekend. So the truck was warming up in my driveway, and I was walking out with my dad, and he asked if my truck was leaking something or why the back tire was all wet. And upon further inspection, we discovered that the brake caliper had exploded, and it leaked all of its oil out. The reservoir, the brake fluid reservoir, was almost empty, and I usually am pretty good about checking over my cars before I go somewhere, but the shadows and stuff, that's my excuse. I didn't really notice that it was leaking. Thank God he had noticed that, because I had no brake left on that back side. The funny thing is, on the back passenger side, I should say. Now, the funny thing is, my brother's truck, the very similar truck, but a 6.0, 3 weeks ago, had the same thing happen. It was on the driver's side, and the inner brake pad wore so thin that the pistons pushed out, and they popped right out. The caliper was crap. It was gone, done for. So luckily he had seen that, because that would have made quite a mess of me if I realized I had no brakes back there. But so yeah, we're all fixed up now. I had to do new caliper, new rotor, and did new pads while I was in there. So now she's good to go. But it was just it was odd that the same exact thing happened to my brother, whereas the inner brake pad wore so thin, caliper, the piston came right out, and leaked its oil everywhere. So just funny how that works. But we're all buttoned up on this side now, and I'm sure some of you guys are questioning why I was so worried about that other rust when this looks much worse. And this is much worse because this is going all the way through. If you can see my little finger there, I don't want to make it any worse. But this one is bad. This is not good. And really, I have no way of patching this. I could probably wrap some stuff around it. I've seen people do that before. I might have to do that before the winter, but it's really a shame because the rest of the bed is in great shape. I mean, look at, it's in really amazing condition. You can still see the tag in there. It's in very good shape. A little dent there, but for the most part, besides that, it's in awesome shape. So I'm going to have to look into some sort of little like wrap protectant thing. I just saw it in the truck the other day, actually. It looks like crap, but it's going to just protect it from the salt this winter until I can cut all that out and weld a new piece in. So that is going to be a wrap for today on the truck. Just wanted to just wanted to update you guys on what I did, because like I said, I couldn't really film it. I was just go trying to get it done before the snow came that never came. So it was just, I was trying to, for the sake of the survival of the truck, I was trying to hurry up and get it done. But the other stuff, like the slow removal of the adhesive and the carbon on the inside, wasn't very entertaining, so I figured I'd spare you guys that. But I just wanted to give you guys an update because I made the video with the truck, the first video with the truck, and then I just, went just disappeared. So the truck is still here. That's where we're at so far. Next video with the truck, I'll probably be, I'm not going to say that I'll be painting that, because I have no idea when the next nice day will be. But that's probably what's going to happen next with the truck. And then we are all fixed up for the most part. We're maintenance-wise good to go. Have to change the oil, and then we'll see about modifications if we're going to do any. So let me know what you guys would like to see with the F350. And again, be sure to visit www.drivehubshop.com, and a portion of every order, actually the full portion of every order, will go towards the Jake DriveHub Diesel Fund, where you too can help put a gallon of diesel in this absolute pig. But I'm freezing my hiney off, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy motoring.